guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I am so tired today, guys. I'm just really burnt out. Look at my nice little shirts all stretched out. Figured purple would look cute today. I've got a couple of appointments. I'm really dreading this doctor's appointment I'm going on today, but so is life. That is just how things are. I'm trying to make sure to drink plenty of water because a lot of times this doctor likes to do blood work. And if you're not hydrated for blood work, they will sit there and poke you 100 times and not be able to get it. It's just how my veins work. I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter. Mine was absolutely wonderful, very uneventful because our children are grown, so we don't have a lot of that. Anyway, I picked this up. I kind of showed a little teaser on this the other day. This is the Morphe Jacklyn Hill collection. I love this case, absolutely. This is my favorite case of all times now for brushes. I like this because you can store this just like this, sitting up on your countertop, countertop in the bathroom. You can put it anywhere you want. You can throw this in your suitcase. It's nice and hard. It doesn't squish. It's magnetic, and it opens up to a flat tray. Nice and big. You got plenty of room for brushes. There are 32 brushes that come with it, ranging from the gigantic, let me sit it down, I'll show you the gigantic powder brush. This brush is absolutely amazing. Look at that thing. Like 4 strokes and you've done your whole face. This is the E41. The thing I like about these is they are numbered, so I'm going to be using these from now on in my tutorials. One of the things I've been wanting to try, I use the, whoopsie, God, that made that mirror too big. I use the Marc Jacobs bronzer brush. You see me use this quite a bit. And this is Morphe's version, the R2. It's supposed to be very similar. It is more flattened. If you see, it's more flattened than this one. But it is still that same kind of, I like how the bristles are kind of tapered and it kind of like rounds into it. It gives you a nice, real nice blend. It is very similar to this one. This one's a lot fluffier. This is kind of a cross between this one and this one. Kind of this type of bristles, but this size-wise. It is a nice brush. I'm not going to go through the brushes one by one, as you guys will kind of see them as we go along. But I'm going to try them out today and just do a basic look. I am going to use this L'Oreal Visible Lift Serum Absolute Foundation. I am loving, loving, loving this. Guys, this stuff is great. It just really, and it's Pro Retinol A plus vitamin C. It's got a sunscreen of 17 in it, which that is not really sunscreen, guys. When you talk about any kind of protection from the sun, you're talking about like a SPF of 30, SPF of 50. I would not go below 30 if you're trying to protect your face from the aging problems that we get from the sun and the damage that we get from the sun. I would not use anything below a 30. Anyway, that being said, you wind up with flashback. And anytime you get into higher SPFs like that, the suntan, I call it suntan lotion, the SPF lotion protectant, it does have reflective properties to it, but so do some of the powders and some of the other products that we use. But if you're not going to be having pictures taken, don't worry about it. Just have fun with it. Do what you want to do. If you're going to be out in the sun, usually we don't want to put a ton of makeup on anyway. But when you're using any kind of retinol products, you do want to make sure to use an SPF or really just stay out of the sun. The sun is really, really harmful to your skin. I was a synchronized swimmer growing up. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a water ballet type thing. It's doing ballet in the water. It's very, very difficult. I would probably have done it all through my high school and college years, except for I got mono in high school in my junior year. Yeah, my junior year of high school, and it caused me to get very sick. I missed a lot of school. I wound up doing homeschool, and I was not able to return to swimming. I tried and tried and tried, but I never actually regained my strength completely. So, that being said, I always made sure to protect my skin. We actually used zinc oxide, which if you ever watch the old movies and you'll see like lifeguards with that white line on their face and white lines right here, that is zinc oxide. It is also found in diaper rash medicine, which that was what most of us used back then because it was easier to get a hold of than the zinc oxide. I would actually take a Decidin diaper rash ointment and I would put it across here, across my nose, and be done for it for the day. It is super, super, super waterproof. It will not come off all day, and you will actually have to clean it off. It causes your pores to get clogged. I used to have to make sure to clean my face very well after. But anyway, enough rambling on. Let's get on to trying this stuff out. The color I'm using in this is, goodness gracious, on the floor. Just the lid was. Soft Ivory number 143. I did not really pay attention to the color choices in this, but I do know this is kind of a good match for me. I'm really liking the kind of neutral undertones to it. I have more neutral to pink. I don't know if you can kind of see. I have neutral to pinkish undertones. You want to always check right in here. Your neck tends to be redder. You want to check right here on your chest. And that's really where you're wanting to match it. Unless you're wearing like a covered up shirt, turtleneck, then, you know, you can match it to whatever you want or match it to your arms. But you can see I have kind of a pinkish neutral undertone. Anyway, let's get right to it. 1, 2, 3. I'm using about 4 pumps of it. It is a little thicker foundation. It does have a slight smell, not really strong. It is very similar to a lot of their other foundations. I like to actually take this, and I've already primed my face using the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, which I've been using a lot lately. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and get some of this on. I just like to put kind of a thin coat of this around, especially when I'm trying out a new brush and I'm not sure if I like it. This is my little concealer brush that you always see me using from Sigma, the 3D Kabuki. And this is their foundation brush from Morphe, which is the M439 brush. That is this here. Jacklyn Hill swears by this one. I have not tried it, but let's give it a try. It is very soft. And I will tell you, it does. Oh, it really does get that product on nice and even. Come on, focus. I don't know if the coverage is any less or any more than what I get with my Sigma, but I can tell you I am liking the blending with this. I'm just kind of patting it in and kind of doing circles very lightly just to get that blended in. You can see here, and go across here, you can see how that covered up that red. It is actually taking a lot more product, I feel like, than usual to cover. But then again, I am using a brand new brush. This has not been used before. As you can see, it's kind of, the product is getting into the ends there. What I like about this foundation is it's very luminous. Actually, it's taking a little bit more. I've already went through 4 pumps, and these actually, this puts out very small pumps. Let me show you what I'm talking about. That is actually 3 pumps right there. If you can see that little divot right there, that area right there is 1 pump. So they are light pumps. And I'm not going to pick it up with the Sigma brush this time. I'm just going to go ahead straight in and just pat this into that as I usually do. Pat it in and then tap it off into here. And I'm going to kind of build that coverage up, see how well I can get it built up. I do have a beauty blender handy just in case I need to smooth this out. You never know when you're not going to exactly like how a brush or a beauty blender Just depends. All of us like a little different. You never know. Now, I always do my eyelids. I like to keep a nice balanced tone to my face. I have a little, it's not really a blemish. It's a little spot right there. Now, I have a lot of texture right here on my cheeks, and I tend to go ahead and smile to help work it in there. Go ahead and get that. I do want to try the, there we go. That is such a pretty foundation, though. It really is. And I am liking how this brush is. It's really working it in, especially into my cheek area right here. My pores are so pronounced right there. And what happens is it gets down in the pore, and because my face is so pink toned, it sits down in that pore, and then up by the skin you don't really see anything. I am going to go ahead and try the I did not put a towel over here. I usually keep a towel handy. Just going to grab a makeup wipe. And the reason why I do that is I like to, especially with my foundation, I like to go ahead and just take my, I usually like a dry towel, but I like to just go ahead and wipe the extra off. To me, that does really help your brushes to last longer, and it keeps them from really getting stained too bad. And I change foundations quite often, so what I'm doing is I'm just wiping the excess product that was on the bristles. Plus, when you put it away in a case like this, it's always nice to have it where it's not everywhere. I'm not going to put it back in the case right away. I'm going to sit it out here and let that dry while I go ahead and finish the rest of my face. This is the let me wipe my little concealer. I have a lot of foundation on that concealer brush. I didn't even think. I want to try the concealer that goes with this, but I really need to clean this brush off. Here we go. So I did use that to lay the product on. I'm doing the same thing, just using my little makeup wipe and then kind of just brushing it off onto my hand to dry it out a little bit. This is the Visible Lift CCI Concealer Multi-Action. This is supposed to be a concealer and a corrector and kind of lifter all in one. I don't know how I feel about it. It has a little metal roller ball to it. And let's see how this works. I'm going to try to go ahead and put this right on. It is very thin, actually. It's very yellow in tone. Got a lot of yellow undertones to it. Just going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and use this also to kind of highlight just a small amount right here. These are the areas I like to highlight on my face. You can highlight kind of wherever you want. Now I'm going to come in with this concealer brush. I'm just going to kind of blend that in, taking very light strokes. I don't want to like brush that in a whole bunch. I want to kind of blend it in. I don't want to mix it really with the foundation underneath, and I don't want to lift up the foundation from underneath. I'm going to grab my beauty blender. I think that might actually work. There we go. That's working so much better for this product. This product is very, very thin. And it blends very quickly, as you see, but I feel like it just lifted that foundation. So I'm going to come in over here and just grab this foundation brush. I have a little bit of product left on my palette. I don't need a whole bunch. What I'm doing is just kind of blending that. I'm kind of using what little bit of foundation is on here to kind of focus. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I'm having trouble with this. I'm using my S9 phone, and I don't know how I feel about that. But it's either I use this or I go back to my vlog camera, which I will have to go ahead and buy new batteries for. And I think I'm going to actually buy a new one if I go back to using that. I'm not real impressed with that concealer, to be honest with you. To me, it is just too runny, and it just, I feel like it broke down the coverage of my foundation, and that's why I'm kind of going back over it with my foundation brush. I'm going to go ahead and throw one pump out. I can show you also now, this is one pump of that foundation. It's just a very ever so slightly bit. What I do is I just tap into it, just picking up a little bit of product, and then kind of come around, and what I'm doing is making sure to get that excess off. And I'm going back around my eyes right here, and anywhere that I put that concealer. Honestly, I feel like it just totally lifted up. There we go. Now, all right. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and just wipe that, tap that brush off a little bit. The reason why I do it right away is I don't want that product to really dry into that brush. I want it to go ahead and dissipate. I'm just using a, these are Walmart's brand, the Equate Makeup Remover Towelettes. They are the same as the Neutrogena Makeup Remover Cleansing Towels. And I will tell you, they are a third of the price. You get about 4 times the amount. And they are wonderful. I always use them to clean up like this. I'll use it to wipe my palette. This, I think I've mentioned this before. This is from the dollar store. You guys ask me a lot of times where I get some of the things I use here. I am very thrifty as far as where I get my stuff. I am not going to spend a whole lot of money if I don't have to. So I will grab stuff from dollar store, Dollar General, thrift stores, anywhere really. To be honest with you, I'm going to go ahead in with my favorite powder. That is the Becca Hydro, what is this called again? It is the Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. This powder is just amazing. And I'm going to go in with this nice big powder brush. Now, if you haven't seen me use this, you don't want to pull the product up over that little netting in there. You want to just pounce into that a little bit. Picking it up, you don't need a whole lot of product. And I like to just lightly pat that into the face. Woo. It will, this one's a full one, so it will pick up a lot. You see, I'm just ever so lightly touching my face. I will tell you, I think I like it better with this powder brush. Now, this powder goes on damp. That is why I think this is just so wonderful with aged skin. There we go. Kind of brush that off. Now, one thing I do, like, I will go ahead and go in circles around, but around my really textured areas, you see, I just pat that in. Kind of pressing it into the skin. And you see, I changed the angles of my face, making sure to open up any wrinkled areas. And getting in between. You want to make sure to always get in between those, because if you don't get in between a wrinkle, you'll make it stick out even more. That is their, what brush is this? This is the E41 powder brush that comes in the set. Now, this is the bronzer brush. Where is the, she talked about, I don't remember what brush it was. She talked about there being a brush that she used for the under eye area, and I'm wondering if this is, I think it is this. Is it this one? I'm going to go with this one here. This is the M437 brush. I want to try this out. When Jacklyn Hill talked about this set, she talked about Lipstick Nick using one of these underneath the eyes that worked very well. I can't remember what number it was. I think it may be this one, but I'm going to come in with this, and I'm just going to pat this, I think it is this one, ever so lightly under that eye. I'm going to pat it in, and then I'm going to make sure to wipe it away. And the reason why I'm looking up is I don't want to cause any disruption in that under eye that I don't need to. I don't want to have that crepey. I'm kind of getting that crepey look over here, and I don't like that. See how I've kind of got that little crepiness right here under the eyes? When you start to get that, just stop, leave it alone, and you're going to come back to that area after everything's kind of settled down. A lot of times it can be you just kind of looking at it and thinking, hey, you know, maybe it's me. Put my eyeshadow palette over here for just a minute. Let me grab my... I think I'm going to try this. I haven't used this in a while. It's one of my favorite bronzers. It's a little on the expensive side. It is daytime. This is a very day, just kind of lifted look is what I'm trying to do. But this is from MAC. It is called Give Me Sun. It is just so pretty. It is the perfect bronzer. It doesn't really have a lot of shimmer to it. It has a, I think it does have a tiny, tiny bit of shimmer. No, it's kind of a matte, I think. But what I'm doing is just patting that in and tapping it off. And I'm going to come into the areas that, if I were to go out in the sun for a day, those areas that would really show it. Like right here on the cheekbones, kind of across the top of my nose, right up here. And what I'm doing is just adding some color back in. There we go. I'm under these really bright lights, so it's hard for you guys to really get, a lot of times, the view that I'm getting. Now, I have texture right here, and you see how it skipped over those lines? And the reason why it did that is because I was kind of like this when I did it. You want to make sure, and you can also kind of lift that up, and you want to come in, make sure that you go in right there, and you can even work a little extra. See how that just made that kind of disappear? Same thing over here. I did do a little extra. It's a little heavy-handed over there, but that's okay. We can always go back. I'm not really doing kind of a... There we go. It just kind of added color back to my face, giving it some life. I like to kind of brush it across my nose because I'm one of those people that, and across my chin and just the high points. There you go. I really like this brush. This is a really nice brush. All right, let's try. I'm trying to think what I want to use on my cheeks today. I got these little, I think there was there 8, 9 here? 3, there were 6 of them. These little minis. I showed these once before. These were $24, which isn't bad for Benefits products, but you get you get 6 little minis, and these little minis will last you a little minute. You get this is the Hoola Light. If you ever wondered what Hoola Light and Hoola bronzer look like next to each other, I'm going to show you real quick here. This is Hoola, and this is the Hoola Light. I like to take, let me go back with that little, maybe like a little contour brush. Still getting used to these brushes, guys. There's a couple brushes I just don't feel like, sorry, getting a little loud here. I guess this one here, this is the R10 brush. It's kind of a flat, white-haired brush, more like kind of a contour brush. And I'm going to come in with this Hoola Light. I want to show you what I like to do with it. Is it just gives just a little definition. It doesn't show up as much for you guys because it's on camera. It's hard to see. You see how it's just, I'm defining that cheek a little bit. And for daytime, and if you want to, especially if you're like me and you have a little bit of a rounded face, I like to come across that nose. If you come across right here like that, I don't like to use a super tiny brush. You can though, but I come across the bridge of my nose like that and at an angle. What that does is it gives you that round look back too. See how I rounded my ball my nose out? a lot of people come highlight the center and they come down here, and all you're doing is making your nose look pinched and long. This way I give myself that little button nose. There we go. And I like this because it's just light enough of a color that I can kind of come in. What I'm doing is kind of cutting in that jaw a little bit. I like to kind of cut right there and right in front of my ear and under there, and then come straight down. And what that does is it kind of takes that roundness in that little, I hate this little spot right here. And I kind of pinch that up, and what that does is it kind of snatches that up. See how it kind of distracts your eye from that. When you're looking at me straight ahead, it just really ovaled my face out. If you look at it from the side, there it is. It's gone. And also I like to kind of contour right here just a tiny bit, just to get rid of that 5 head. Now the to show you the difference, that was the hula light. I'm going to come in just a tiny bit right here with the hula. This is the regular hula right next to it. You see how that just right there, and the hula light. You can use them both together. I'm going to even out this side. Just picked up a tiny bit of product and just kind of blend it together right there. There we go. But for daytime, I don't really. There we go. Now, if you've watched my lip video, you'll know what I'm fixing to do. And the hula light is one of my favorite products to use this for. And I'm using this. I'm having to find a new brush out of this set to use this for. Let's see. I'm going to grab this right here. This is the M213, and this is just like that little, you see me use my little e.l.f., and I call it a concealer brush. This is the same thing. It's a little tiny flat brush. And I'm going to come into the hula light. Just going to pick up a teeny bit of product. Just pat that in there to make sure to tap it off. And I'm going to come in right here. And I'm just coming in the center of here. And if you guys watch my lip video, you'll know that's my little trick to doing my lips. Another little trick that I didn't really show you in that video, and I kind of meant to, but see, you can also use this to detail your nose. What I'm talking about is coming right across here, across that bridge. I'm going to draw a line right here and then knock these kind of corners out. And what that does, it gives you that little button nose, that little roundness. I learned that from Candy Johnson. I love her. I don't know if you guys heard, but Candy Johnson is doing another collab with Too Faced, which is really cool because I liked the last one. I was really surprised when I heard that she was doing another one. The other product I like out of these little things is, I think it's called Rockature, R-O-C-K-A-T-E-U-R, Rockature. And it's kind of a, these are very powdery, but this is that right there. It's kind of a, it's like a blush kind of, but see how it's got a little shimmer to it? I love this for daytime. I'm going to grab this brush right here. I don't know if this is, I'm not liking how that's already kind of shedding, and I haven't even used it. You see that? It's got some loose hairs. They do that though. I'm going to let you guys know after probably 2 weeks an update on how I like these. But this is the M30, and I'm going to use this for my cheeks. So I'm just going to come into here, kind of pick up some color, and I like to kind of come back here and then just slowly work up and then blend it in. You see that? I did it a little darker just so you can see on here. I will actually blend that out a little more. But it's so hard for me to really show you. I don't like to bring too much right here in the front because I have enough red to my face and pink tones that I don't need any more. Here's that. I'm going to come back with that powder brush and throw another brush that's stuck to it across the room. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to come with this powder brush, and I'm just going to come right along here and right here. And what I'm doing is I'm just blending that out a little bit because I did do it a little darker, just so you could see and define that jawline back up. I will find a good highlight. This is what I would use to highlight. This is the M510 brush. I love these natural hair brushes like this. These things are great. I'm going to come over here into this. I haven't even got to my eyes. I'm already highlighting. Look at that. I'm going to come into this and just pick this up. This is Vanilla Quartz by Becca. I'm just going to, what I wanted to do is really show you that nose trick. See how that just really gives that kind of curved. And you can come up here and just lay a little bit right along that bridge of the nose, just to kind of make sure it stays pinched in. I love that. Now, if you know me, I don't do the whole highlight up into here. I like to come here and I just smile. And see how that just really brightens up the smile. The reason why I do it like that is because when you smile, people are looking here at your teeth. They're not looking here. But that just really, that lights the smile up, I think. And you can also come along here. I have so much texture right here that I don't like to emphasize that. If I do come over here, I will come just underneath it right there. Right there. But if you do it the way I'm talking, you don't need it. I like to highlight right here. And if you watch the lip video, you understand why I highlight so much there. Now you want to stay, if you're like me and you have mature skin, you don't want to highlight up in here. You want to kind of, I don't have a lot of wrinkles on my forehead, but a lot of people highlight up here. I don't. I stay very close right here. Right in here and right in here. You want to stay away from textured areas. Right across here I don't have a lot of texture, but if you have those 11s, stay away from there. You kind of blend it out. But highlighter really, it'll bring out any kind of texture that you have in your skin, and you really don't want that. Let's grab my palette and check out these eyeshadows. Wow, we are already 30 minutes into this, guys. I'm sorry. It's going to be kind of a long video. But I'm just going to do a quick eye look. I want to check out these brushes and see how they work. I'm going to grab a nice fluffy brush. I'm going to grab this one here. This is the M504 brush. It's just a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm looking right at this color right here. I'm not sure what color that is. It's kind of a peachy kind of color, and go in between these two and tap that off. Just going to come right there. This is a really kind of a stiff, it's kind of a lot stiffer than I thought, to be honest with you guys. But anytime I'm going to go into a different one. Sorry about that. I'm not liking that one's a little too stiff. I need a nice fluffy, oh, look at this one. This is out of the Rose collection. This is the R37. I'm going to do the same thing, but I think I'm going to come in more into this one here. I'm just going to, yeah, that's perfect. Just kind of work that there, and then bring it slightly up to kind of emphasize my eye there. I have it in my natural crease, and then I'm going to kind of blend it up into the crease that I like to make. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to come into here. Actually, I got to pick a little bit of that up because I didn't get that on this side. And I'm just going to work the same thing. Anytime you're mixing between two colors, one little trick I have found is always make sure that you do both eyes every dip. That way, if you get the color a little different on one dip than the other, it doesn't matter because you've put it on both eyes. Just working that really into that crease and really just blowing that out. I want that really blended out in there. There we go. Kind of working circles and just really blending that out. I want just kind of a peachy orangey color up in there. Really liking that color, and I'm going to come over here into my color switch and change off the color. These brushes, they clean off very quickly and easily actually, which is very nice. Let me see what else I want to bring in there. I think I want to darken that up just a tiny bit. Actually, no, I don't think I want to darken it up. I think I'm liking that. I'm going to just, actually, yeah, I'm going to come into, let me grab a different brush. Let me grab a little shorter. There we go. I'm going to grab this one. This is the M518. It's another fluffy brush. And I'm going to come into this little orangey peach color right here. And I'm going to come slightly up from where I was right there. Just slightly. And what I'm doing is adding a little more definition to that eye than I feel like I've gotten now. Kind of come in a little bit here. I have very hooded eyes. And you see, if you bring that up, I think I can't emphasize enough on bringing that up and just really blending that out. See, there we go. Really blending that out. Because once you open your eyes wide with hooded eyes, you don't see any of that. Wait, let me show you. If your eyes are very hooded, see, it disappears. But if you come up a little bit, you can really see that. And you want to make sure, you don't want to do all this work for nothing. There we go. I'm really going to just blow that out up there a little bit. I'm going to come in. I need a little bit fluffier brush, a little bigger brush. I like to use these. This is the E18. This is like a really, really fluffy. It's more of a face brush. But I'm going to use this because I want to really just blow that out and blend that right at that top. And this is just working perfect for that. Don't be afraid to use a little bigger brush on an area, especially if you're trying to blend it out. And what I'm doing is kind of pulling that up too. I'm kind of pulling it up because I want to blend it upwards. I want to just blend it out. I want to blend it up. There you go. See how it's really just, it's not darkening it. It's not adding any product. I'm just kind of moving that product a little bit up into that area. There you go. Just giving it kind of a glow from back there. You see that? I'm not doing a whole lot of color today because, like I said, it's daytime. I'm just going to pop, let me see, I might pop a little bit of this or this one. Let's see. I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to do on the lid here. I want to do kind of a light color. Oh, actually, I know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this on here, so I'm going to darken that outer corner. And I'm going to darken that outer corner by grabbing this brush right here. This is the M506 brush, and it's kind of a real tapered, can you see that? It's very tapered. It's not necessarily a pencil brush. I don't really see a true pencil brush in this set, actually. That's close, but not exact. Actually, this one's better. I don't see a real tight pencil brush in this set. These two, I think, are the closest. What I'm looking for is an actual brush like this. This is a pencil brush. I'm going to go ahead and use this one here. I want to stick in this set. That is one brush that I feel like that really is missing from that. Let me look at this. I've got kind of a peachy, kind of orangey vibe going. So I don't want to come away from that, but I'm going to come into, let me see, oh, I wish I had a little bit of brown. I'm going to come into this here. This has kind of got a pinky, and I'm going to pop that in with it just to kind of, there we go, yeah. That's going to give it kind of a pink, but it's going to stay, tap that even into it. There we go. Just to give it a little, almost a neon kind of vibe. Kind of a sherbety kind of, I would call that like a sherbety kind of color. Now see how I made a custom color. Now I put it on this side. You want to make sure, get some over here, because that's gonna, you want to stay that same kind of color. And remember what you do. What I did is I popped into this, I popped into this, and then I popped into this one. And I just kind of blended those together on that outer corner. And what I'm doing is just kind of working that, not really, I don't want to come off that lid really, right there. Here we go, and just kind of blend that out. There we go. That is perfect. I'm really liking this look. I don't do a lot of really orangey, kind of peachy vibe looks like this, but I'm liking this one. I want to make sure You always want to make sure you clean your brush off the excess. Now, I usually wait till the end, especially when I do a custom kind of color like that. I want to make sure I do it to the end, but I don't want to lay this back in that tray without really cleaning it off first. So I'm going to come into that other brush that we had, the 518 brush that we had laid that color. I'm just going to kind of come back in here. This is that first one that I thought felt kind of hard. And I'm just going to kind of use that just to kind of blend that off in that crease a little bit. So I blended that color because that is a very neon-y kind of color. Dust that brush off there. And I'm going to come in with that very first one. And I'm going to come with this color right here. And I'm actually going to tap this into that white. So I'm picking up this and tapping it into that white to really get that lighter. And I'm going to pop it right there. Just going to pop that right there and blend it. There we go. What I'm doing is really just kind of coming up with a custom-y kind of color up in that brow bone area. There we go. And kind of lift the eye. You can kind of blend that in. There we go. I'm actually kind of liking that. And there we go. Now, as far as for your lid, I kind of want something shimmery, kind of sparkly. I don't know. You know, actually this I think would look pretty. Actually, this will look real pretty. I'm going to pop that right there on that lid. Look at that. Well, come on. Light, please. That is this kind of peach tone right here. I'm just using my finger to kind of pop that on there. I'm kind of using my finger to blend it into the other color. There we go. And there we go. There we have it. I'm going to take the very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice tight brush. Let me find one here. This is another little trick I'm going to show you with this set. I'm going to take this kind of, I don't know what these are. This is a 432 brush. It's a flat, very flat brush. And I'm going to come in with this color right here and stamp it in. I'm just stamping it in. And I'm going to tap it into that like apricot-y color right there. And I'm going to come right here and lift my bottom eyelashes because they're just so long and in my way. I'm going to tap that onto that outer corner. Shoot, I ran out. I don't remember what I did. I remember what you do. And like before, I'm going to work that up on that lash line on the outer third, making sure to go back and forth between the two to make sure they're very even. There we go. See how I got that going? You know, let me clean that brush off. I'm going to show you a little trick with cleaning up your eyeshadow on the outer corner with this thing. This is a great little trick that actually Jacklyn Hill does this. And I'm just going to come in. Where is my RCMA? RCMA powder is like really the best to use for this, but I cannot find it. It's usually right in front of me. I'm just going to grab, I'll go back into my backup powder. I don't know how well this is going to work for this because it's kind of a wet powder, but I'm going to grab my backup powder and I'm going to grab this. This is the E47 brush. This is a real weird looking flat brush. And there's a little bit of powder up in there, so I'm going to take that and pat it in. Just kind of tap it off, and I'm going to use that just to stamp right there. See how I just cleaned up? I'm just going to clean up right there. Just going to crisp up that corner. Kind of crisp that up right there. Do the same thing on this side. Oh yeah. I'm going to really crisp that corner up with this. I'm lifting my eye, and you should not do that. Do not lift your eye. There you go. Just kind of crisping it up right in those corners. You can also, I like to use this right here. And what I'm doing is just kind of cleaning up my under eye right there. I feel like, remember the crepiness we had earlier, and I said we'd get to that later? That's what I'm kind of doing now. I'm taking this brush to just kind of work the crepiness down and work in between the lines just to blend that out so it's not so noticeable. See how that just really blended that out and kind of helped flatten it out a little bit. Now you're going to have some, because it's not an iron. You can't iron out wrinkles. Believe me, if you could, I'd be the first one on that train. If you want to pop a little bit of liner in your waterline, you can do that at this time. I honestly would probably, if I'm going to, use a very light color. And actually, let's do that. I'm going to grab Pink of Me. I absolutely love, love, love this color. It's called Pink of Me by Marc Jacobs. And it's a real pale, pale baby pink. And I'm going to pop that right there in that waterline. And that's just going to really open that eye up and kind of finish this look out. There you go. Wow. A little overboard on that, actually, guys. That was a little overboard. But once I put my mascara on, it's really going to tone it down. Plus, you have to realize you're looking at this in extremely spotlight. I'm going to grab my favorite ever, as we know, mascara, if I can reach it. And also, once again, I don't know what it is with my eyebrows, but I always forget to do them. It's like a thing I like to forget. I'm going to grab, actually I'm going to try a little different mascara today, but I'm going to grab my eyebrow pencil and I'm going to pop some eyebrows back on. I really just absolutely love this case. It just snapped shut. I just kind of bumped it and it knocked over and it snapped shut and didn't drop one brush. But you just throw your brushes back in there. Make sure to throw them. I throw them all the same way. That way you can sit it back up. Whoops. Like that, and store it on your counter and none of your brushes get disrupted. There we go. Grab my Precisely My Brow in number 4 from Benefit. And I'm just going to kind of, I like to come across the bottom and just kind of fill those in. I'm not doing a real crazy brow. This is daytime, so just kind of filling them in a little bit. I can literally do this brow watch just in 2 minutes, if that. It's just very natural, very wispy brow is what I'm doing. Remember, your brows are sisters. They are not twins. I took forever learning that one. No, I'm more of a natural brow. You don't want to define the top so much as the bottom. I kind of just do it a little wispy on top. I kind of knocked it a little harder there. And I define that bottom a little more. And just kind of do that tail. And what I do is just kind of softly let that tail feather off instead of abruptly ending it. Use my little spoolie and then brush those up. Always remember to brush them up. If you brush them up, you're really going to give yourself that finished, that more youthful. The younger you are, the more fluffy brows tend to be, and you want that real fluffy look. There you go. I'm going to grab, this is my IT Cosmetics. This is the Tight Line mascara, and I really like this. I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to use this on this bottom line. I'm going to come underneath first, and then come up on the top. I'll start on the bottom, and the reason why, because I really want to show you how this really calms down that look. See how that really, I got a little bit underneath, but see how it calmed down that real stark white look? And the reason why is you can get so close to that under eye that you're like right on top of it. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and this little wand is tiny, tiny. It's like microscopic, but it is amazing for this. And what it does is it actually tight lines your eye at the same time as it lays in your mascara. I'm going to show you here in a minute. I actually go over with regular mascara after I do this, and I'll show you here in a second. See how I'm just coming underneath and just pulling that up and kind of wiggling it. There we go. Let me work back to this side. A light look like this, a tight line is really going to make a huge, huge difference. You can also go ahead and come across the top, but see the difference in that? How much that really just outlined that eye. Now I'm going to come in with my, I can't find my regular mascara. Oh, here we go. I'm going to come in with my Perversion by Urban Decay, my favorite mascara of all times. And I'm just going to lightly wiggle that through the top. And kind of dust those bottoms. Now, if you do like I do and you get a little bit on your eye underneath there, let that dry and you can just kind of knock it with a spoolie and it'll come right out. See the difference in that eye? How much that really just kind of makes that eye pop. I'm going to go ahead and finish that off, and I'm going to finish my lips off, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. And that is it. I just popped a little bit of Buxom White Russian on my lips, a little bit of gloss, and be done with it. But that is the look, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will be doing an update letting you know a little more on how I like the Morphe set, the Jacklyn Hill set. Finish this off with a little bit of the hangover spray. I really love this Too Faced hangover spray. I think it really, somebody was asking me about how putting all that powder on my face, it doesn't absolutely just dry me out. It does. And my lifesaver is this here. This is really just, I mean, it's nice and clear, you see. It's nice and clear. It does not real milky, and it dries down. It dries down. See how it just has a little bit of sheen to it? It doesn't dry real sticky. It does have a little bit of stick to it. And that's why it's good to use also underneath your makeup. But you just kind of, any area that you feel like looks real kind of cakey, just give it a little spritz with that and you're good to go. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day and I will see you soon. Bye.